Imagine this. You're on a ship, miles from anywhere, middle of the ocean. And then bang, disaster. A collision, maybe a missile hit, a fire breaks out.
Yeah, it's a nightmare scenario.
Suddenly the ship's damaged, water's rushing in, and everything depends on what the crew does right then and there.
It's terrifying to think about, but for naval crews, it's a reality they absolutely have to train for.
And that's what we're diving into today. The Royal Navy's pretty incredible answer to this, the Damage Repair Instructional Unit, or DRIU.
Right, also known as HAVOC. That's the unit name.
Yeah.
And it's not just any simulator. It's basically a purpose-built sinking ship.
Pushes sailors right to their limits. So our mission today is to really unpack what this thing is, why it's so vital, and what it actually takes to face that kind of simulated chaos.
And maybe touch on something quite profound, how some of these drills, well, they aren't even designed for you to win. It's about something else entirely.
Exactly. So get ready. We're going inside the training that turns that raw fear into genuine capability.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's set the scene. When we think about, say, a car accident or even a plane having trouble, there are options, right? Pullover, emergency landing. But a ship way out at sea, that's a whole different ballgame, isn't it?
Totally different. I mean, that's the key thing here. Unlike those other situations, a ship's survival can literally hang on the crew fixing the damage right there, right there.
No pulling over.
No easy exit. No waiting for the rescue services to just show up in 5 minutes.
Okay.
It is all about damage control immediately.
And the sources we looked at, they really hammer this home with some pretty stark examples. Real incidents.
Absolutely. Where fast action saved the day or where things went tragically wrong despite immense effort.
Yeah, so what happens when that training is tested for real? Or maybe it isn't quite enough?
Well, you see the contrasts. Think about HMS Sheffield in the Falklands. Hit by an exocet, the repair teams fought incredibly hard, but ultimately she was lost.
Right.
But then you have the USS Stark, also hit by an exocet in the Gulf War. She was saved. Damage control made the difference.
And it's not just warships, is it?
No, even think about Piper Alpha, the oil platform disaster, a civil incident. The platform itself was lost, tragically, but they did manage to extinguish the fire and cap the wellheads eventually. Damage control, even in that extreme case.
And on the positive side,
HMS Southampton had a collision in the Gulf, saved. And the reports directly credited the crew's DRIU training for that outcome.
So these are literally life or death skills. The crew's actions are just crucial.
Absolutely critical.
So given those stakes, how on earth do you prepare sailors for that kind of, chaos?
That's where this facility comes in, the DRIU, or HAVOC, as the unit at HMS Raleigh is called. It's been running since, 1987?
Yeah, designed and built by VSL Thornycroft. Described sometimes as just a big metal box.
Which is underselling it a bit. It's essentially a very sophisticated mock-up of part of a ship.
Built specifically for this practical damage control training.
And the realism they achieve inside. Yeah. It's quite something. It simulates 3 decks of a warship. And they have, complete control over all sorts of environmental factors. It's definitely not just sitting in a classroom.
No, far from it. The sources say it can be rolled and heeled, like tilted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Simulating the ship listing or pitching in rough seas.
How much are we talking?
It can roll up to 15 degrees to either side.
15 degrees? That's quite a lot when you're trying to work.
Oh, yeah. And at different speeds. To mimic different sea states. Beginners might start at, say, 5 degrees. But for the instructors running the exercise, they can face the full 15.
Making it harder for them.
Making it harder for the trainees, because the instructors are in there too, directing things. This rolling, it's done with computer-controlled hydraulic rams. Big pump house next door, providing the power.
Wow. Okay, that sounds disorienting enough already. But it's not just the motion, right? What kind of actual damage are the crews facing inside?
Oh, a whole range. They simulate punctured decks, breached bulkheads,
right?
Walls between compartments with water pouring in at about 0.4 bar pressure, splinter damage, like you get from an explosion, hatches that are warped and difficult to close, and then there's the high-pressure pipework splits.
High pressure.
Yeah, operating up to 8 bar, sometimes even 120 psi. That creates a really forceful jet of water. Very hard to approach and deal with.
I can imagine.
Plus, they pump in non-toxic smoke through the ventilation, blast action noises over the PA system. It's sensory overload.
All controlled from outside.
Yeah, from an observation area and control room.
Yeah.
And get this, there's a huge tank overhead holding 100 tons of water ready to flood the compartments.
100 tons?
Yep. And they can drain it super fast, too, about a minute and a half,
yeah,
using big motor-driven valves. And they just recycle the water for the next exercise. It's a closed loop.
Okay, let's try and picture being inside during an exercise. The commands ring out. Hands to action stations. Assume NBCD State 1 Zulu.
Right, that's the highest state of readiness. Nuclear, biological, chemical, damage control. Basically button everything down.
The ship is simulating being under air attack. It's rolling, maybe 7 degrees, side to side. You've got those high-pressure leaks spraying everywhere, bulkheads are breached, smoke starting to fill the space. It's full on.
And the training is very hands-on, very specific techniques. They learn how to use emergency pumps to get water out, how to drain compartments safely,
Right.
how to bypass those high-pressure leaks, maybe isolate a section of pipe, and crucially, how to actually seal the damage.
How do they do that? With what?
Various things. Wooden wedges are a classic, driving them into cracks and splits.
Yeah.
Shoring is using timber beams or metal props to brace damaged bulkheads, stop them collapsing further under pressure.
Okay.
Even using things like bedding material for certain types of leaks, stuffing it into gaps. The goal is always to make a repair, even a temporary one, and get the water out, restore stability.
And this is where it gets really intense. One source described a beginner's scenario, that 120 psi breach, said you could feel a pressure from 2 meters away. Not even the water, just the air being forced out.
Wow. Yeah, that gives you a sense of the force.
And then trying to patch, say, a 3-inch hole from a simulated rocket hit, but it's in a really awkward spot, like behind a locker while water's pouring in.
In the dark, probably with smoke, noise, the deck tilting.
Exactly. One trainee mentioned actually splitting a wedge they were hammering in, just from the sheer force needed or the pressure of the moment.
That happens. The water pressure is designed to be realistic, like being several decks down. Authentic forces.
But then there's this other layer you mentioned earlier, the catch.
Ah, yes. Sometimes, in some scenarios, there's actually no way to win.
What do you mean? No way.
I mean, the design is such that the water will just keep coming no matter what the trainees do. They can't actually stop the flood in that particular setup.
So why? What's the point of that?
It's not about solving that specific problem then. It becomes a test of commitment, of mental toughness. How long will you keep fighting? How hard will you push yourself when things seem impossible?
That's quite a psychological test.
It really is. And the instructors watching, they can also tweak things in real time. If the team is doing really well, maybe they increase the water level, up the challenge.
Or lower it if needed.
Or drop it fast if there's a safety issue or someone's genuinely overwhelmed. They have that control.
So it's incredibly dynamic. Okay, moving beyond the mechanics, what does this really reveal about the people going through it? The human side?
Well, it's raw. One recruit, Kara Gillies, was very honest in one account. Said she was genuinely scared.
Yeah.
Felt sick, thinking about being submerged. Literally thought, oh my God, this room is filling up with water. I'm going to die.
That's incredibly honest. It shows the real fear they face, even in simulation.
Exactly. And these are explicitly described as psychologically challenging exercises. Sources talk about the pressure of the water itself being scary.
Right.
And Kara mentioned crying inside, but she just kept going. Showed, quote, real grit, determination, and effort. What's fascinating, she said her fear of failing the task actually became stronger than her fear of the water itself.
Wow. So fear of failure drove her through the fear of drowning.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Which is a really interesting insight into motivation under extreme pressure. And that's something that training seems designed to tap into or even build.
So it's clearly about much more than just learning how to hammer in a wedge. Pushing those psychological boundaries serves a deeper purpose.
Absolutely. Fixing the leak is the primary goal, obviously, but there's more. That repetition, it drills the basic skills until they're second nature.
Muscle memory.
Right. Becoming familiar with those chaotic conditions, the noise, the water, the smoke, it helps reduce panic when or if it happens for real.
Makes sense.
And ultimately, the sources suggest it builds a kind of calm acceptance of your fate. Which sounds grim, but it's actually kinder psychologically if you survive something horrific. It helps manage trauma.
Okay, I can see that. Reducing the shock factor.
Yeah. And it highlights the difference between chaos and teamwork. One source mentioned amateurs trying a total chaos. Apparently, they even left a hammer behind. Whereas the trained crews, the professionals, demonstrate coordinated, effective teamwork even under that immense pressure. That's the standard.
And this isn't optional, is it?
No. Compulsory for all Royal Navy personnel who will serve on a ship.
Yeah.
Usually done during basic training phase 1.
And then they have to do it again later.
Yeah, usually refresher courses every 4 years or so. Though some roles, like submariners, have their own specialized ongoing training too, like SMERAs, which is about submarine escape and different needs there.
And the DRIU course itself, it's quite short.
Very compact, yeah. half a day. It's preceded by some basic theory on CBR and DC, chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear damage control.
Okay.
Then it's a quick brief, a walk around so you know the layout, and boom, straight into practical exercises. Pumping, handling electrical failures in wet conditions, leak stopping, shoring. It's all about doing, not just listening.
So this whole deep dive into HAVOC, the DRIU, it really underlines the incredible lengths they go to, preparing crews for stuff we hope they never face.
It's definitely more than just patching holes. It's about embedding skills, fostering calmness under fire, and building that sheer grit you need to save a ship, save lives.
And connecting it to the bigger naval picture.
Well, the system is seen as an excellent investment. Simple as that. It gives crews the ability to maintain buoyancy, keep the ship stable, recover vital equipment.
Keep the ship in the fight, essentially.
Exactly. Ensure its fighting effectiveness in wartime or just its basic survival in peacetime accidents, its fundamental readiness.
So, a final thought to leave people with. Thinking about this intense training, facing fear, facing those no-win scenarios, it obviously prepares them for emergencies, but it must also fundamentally shape their resilience, how they function under any kind of pressure.
Absolutely.
So, how might that apply to us? To the challenges, maybe the daunting tasks you face in everyday life. What could you potentially achieve if you tackled your own challenges with that same kind of prepared determination, that unwavering commitment, even when things feel impossible?